I believe it's 5:30, and I'll go ahead and get started. There's a couple of us missing, but we'll go ahead and get started and come in late. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I love to see, as I always say at the beginning of our meetings, love to see this building full. I know there's a lot going on this week, and some of you have other commitments, but that's okay. And I do like to start out with a little silent moment, and we'll go from there to the pledge. When you have a moment in your silent prayer, a moment, just kind of reflect on things that's been happening in the past month, recently, especially in the Middle East. I know it's. I know I hate to say this. I stay out of politics, but there's a lot going on in there. We still need to keep them in our prayers, regardless if it's good, bad, and it's definitely ugly. And also keep in mind our little ones coming up next week. It's one of the biggest nights of their lives, but not so much for ours. So just keep them in prayers when they run in the dark streets and you're out riding around, and just be mindful that they're out there and be watching for them. So at this moment, just reflect and say a little private moment on yourself, and then we'll do the pledge. Thank you. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call roll.
Caruso.
Here.
Daniel. Dryden.
Here.
Hartsfield.
Here.
Jacobs. Here. Mabry.
Here.
Nidert.
Here.
Rochelle. Weathers.
Here.
7 present, 2 absent.
Very well. We have 7 out of 9. I believe that is a quorum for tonight. First on the agenda was recognitions, and our first up is Mr. Ricky Mabry from Summertown Elementary.
So first off, I would like to say thank you to the board for this opportunity to make this recognition. Mr. Atkins often allows principals the flexibility to do what's best for his school, and so I've taken that liberty tonight, and so our recognition may be a little different than it has been in the past. So at this time, I'm going to ask Ivan George to come up here and join me at the front. Are you here, Ivan? He has something prepared he would like to share with the board and our audience.
Mr. Chairman, board members, Mr. Atkins, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to be part of this meeting tonight. I'm excited about all the great things happening at Summertown Elementary. This is my 7th year at Summertown Elementary. I've spent most of my life as an Eagle at Summertown Elementary. I've represented my school in basketball, soccer, golf, cross country, and the talent show. Mr. Mabry will want to talk a lot about test scores. I was part of the 5th graders from Summertown Elementary that led Lawrence County with the highest success rate in both math and science last year. Today, I'm here to talk to you about a teacher in Lawrence County that is a difference maker. This teacher has no clue that she is being recognized tonight. This particular teacher I have known all of my life. Literally, I have known this teacher my entire life. Miss Erin George, or Mom, as I call her, started her teaching career in 2007. My mom has her Master of Science in Communication Disorders, and she also has her Master of Arts in Deaf Education. I'm not sure of what all that means, but it sounds like a lot of work. In 2011, my parents moved back home from Cookeville to Summertown, and my mom began working at Mount Pleasant Elementary from the fall of 2011 to the spring of 2015. In 2015, my mom started her job at Summertown Elementary as a speech and language pathologist. She soon saw a great need and set herself a goal to have a sensory playground at our elementary school that would be perfect for all students with special needs. It would be the first of its kind in our area, and she didn't want the bare minimum playground. Absolutely not. She wanted it to be the best that could be had. The cost was overwhelming, but she didn't let that stand in the way. She started fundraising. She sold t-shirts, organized charity golf tournaments. She sold more t-shirts, lobbied for private donations from people willing to help out in this endeavor. She sold even more t-shirts and held many other fundraising events. We have made a lot of t-shirts in 8 years. As you look around the room, you will see several of the different designs she has created. She helped raise a substantial amount of money from all these activities, but it was a very slow go and a long way from the amount that was needed. She then reached out to Abigail's Plan to see if they would consider coming alongside of her hard work to help with funding, and thankfully they were receptive and excited to help by donating funds from Abigail's Plan and Bulls and Barrels Rodeos for the last 3 years. This amazing dream of an all-inclusive sensory playground is now on the horizon for Summertown Elementary School. Thanks to her tireless efforts, today the equipment has been ordered. The area where the playground will be built is being made ready, and we are all anxiously waiting for delivery and installation. A $300,000 project to build Abigail's sensory playground at Summertown Elementary got its start because of one teacher, my mom, wanted to make things better for all students. I'm not sure how many more times I can get away with calling her Miss George, but Miss George, please come forward and be recognized.
These kids are pretty sharp.
They were all young.
Okay, breathe. You did so good. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, guys. Our next special presentation, which is Dr. Mabry, is going to be pretty hard to follow that.
No, I wasn't stopped that.
Leave it to my son to set me up behind such a good speaker. Let's give that young man another hand. Mr. Atkins, fellow board members and friends, it is with great pleasure tonight that I am recognizing Tommy Lee Kidd, his family, and Abigail's Plan with the Ethel Young Benson Award. Traditionally, the Ethel Young Benson Award has been given to former employees who have made a difference in a child's life. However, I have chosen to think outside the box because this young man, although not a school employee, has gone above and beyond to benefit the students of the Lawrence County school system. In fact, Tommy Lee is the epitome of what Mrs. Benson would have hoped her students would become. His leadership and service above self are more than justify him as a difference maker in the Lawrence County school system. Let me share with you what I know about Tommy Lee Kidd. I was honored tonight to meet Lisa's dad, Mr. C.M. Robbins. I had never not met him, but he's a fine gentleman, and we're glad you're here tonight. Also here tonight are Tommy Lee's mom and dad, who are Ricky and Tony Kidd. These two are outstanding individuals and well beloved in the Summertown community. Many of us older residents of Summertown remember Tommy Lee's grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Tommy Kidd and Mr. and Mrs. Lee Jones, for whom Tommy Lee was named, in case anybody ever wanted to know who Tommy Lee was named after. He's named after his grandparents, and he's very proud of that. Tommy Lee is married to the former Lisa Robbins, and they have one daughter, Donna Abigail Kidd. And as we all know, beside every successful man, there you will find a strong woman. Tommy Lee is fortunate. He has two strong women, Lisa and Abigail. And so the journey begins. Tommy Lee and Lisa began their journey from the moment Abigail was born to improve the lives of special needs children. In 2003, Tommy Lee and Lisa were involved in the Middle Tennessee Down Syndrome Buddy Walk. They helped raise over $50,000 over a 3-year period for Down syndrome awareness. 2008 to present, Tommy Lee and Lisa were the initial creators of a baseball league for people with special needs. The first year, the league started with 11 players. Keep that in mind, 11 players. 2014, Abigail's Plan was born by Lisa and Tommy Lee and Abigail. The league had grown to 59 players. Keep that in mind. Beginning with no money, in 73 weeks, Tommy Lee and Lisa motivated the entire county and region, working together to raise over $400,000 to construct a totally rubberized baseball facility. Upon completion in 2019, it was paid off and now has an estimated value of $1.2 million. That's dollars. In this year, the Miracle League baseball season had 115 players from Lawrence County and all surrounding counties, as well as North Alabama. So you see what they have done with that. Great things are still being done, as we have already seen and talked about. Abigail's Plan has teamed up with the faculty and staff at Summertown Elementary and with the help of the community to construct the first disability accessible sensory playground in Lawrence County. Abigail's Plan matched $150,000 raised by Summertown Elementary for a total of $298,000, with plans for this to be completed in 2023, this year. And Tommy Lee said just a moment ago the equipment was between where? Houston and Indiana, so it's on its way. The project will be completely paid off for when it is completed. Abigail's Plan will continue to raise funds to install an Abigail's Playground in Loretta and one in Lawrenceburg. Tommy Lee, Lisa, and Abigail's personal accomplishments are far too numerous to mention here tonight. I'd be here all night, and I know if we did this till 12 o'clock, somebody would definitely fall out of the window. In summary, Tommy Lee has served on numerous state and national councils and committees and won many awards as an advocate for special needs students. One of his greatest accomplishments, he and Lisa, the occupational diploma law. Tommy Lee told the story of Abigail's path in school, and that story led to the creation of the occupational diploma for students with special needs that are finishing high school. This new law was passed in 2013, giving students with special needs the option to pursue a diploma that carries weight. Before, students with special needs were given a certificate of attendance. In addition, the fact that Tommy Lee ran for a prestigious countywide office his first time with no opposition and received an overwhelming number of complimentary votes speaks not only for his character, but that of his family, Lisa and Abigail, his parents, Tony and Ricky Kidd, and his brothers, Chris and Robbie. In closing, Tommy Lee and Lisa did not stop with their love and advocacy for Abigail, but expanded it with passion and humility to include all the special needs children of Lawrence County, which exemplifies them as true difference makers. Tommy Lee, Lisa, and Abigail will tell you that they give God all the glory for their successes. And so tonight, with great pleasure, we present the Ethel Young Benson Award to Tommy Lee, Lisa, and Abigail as true difference makers in the Lawrence County school system. If y'all would come up. Mom and Dad. Come on, what?
Elijah, come on, you gotta go get your big light. Let's go.
Come on. Come on.
That's a good job.
That's so good. Elijah can smile this picture, but come on, with us, it's gonna be great. Okay, that's not real big, okay?
That's all he.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh. I got you.
Congratulations, guys. Well deserved. Our next special presentation tonight is Ms. Shannon Watson's STEM project. Okay, go ahead.
Is that good?
Before we get going, I got one presentation. Chairman Caruso, the Tennessee School Board Association places a premium on lifelong learning and active participation for school board members. With TSBA's Boardsmanship Active Participation Program, members are recognized for their commitment to training and attending conferences and their service to their community. TSBA's program not only recognizes the quality of the participation, but the quantity of participation. Board members or boardmanship recognition involves 3 categories: training, events, experience, conventions, and workshops, and they rank board members on a 1 through 5 scale based on their participation. TSBA is proud to recognize 2 board members for tonight's meeting who are level 1 recognition. That means they've attended at least 21 events, 6 experience points, where they give up their own personal time to satisfy the requirements. Last January, the TSBA recognized Dr. Ricky Mabry and Chairman Kevin Caruso. Tonight, TSBA proudly recognizes Mr. Jerry Dryden and Mr. Nikki Hartsfield for their commitment and dedication to the Lawrence County Board of Education. So if you both will come forward, please.
Okay, you guys ready? 1, 2.
Good job, guys. Appreciate it. Now, Miss Warren.
That's fun. That's exciting. Congrats. So this evening, I'm very excited to introduce some special visitors for tonight's board meeting. Several years ago, we embarked on really growing our STEM program within our schools K through 12. And it's been a true passion of mine. It's been a dream come true, but someone had to lead that. And I'm very thankful for our STEM coordinator, Miss Anne Marie Lampright, because she has made all my STEM dreams come true, because I didn't have the knowledge nor the time to really build the STEM program into what it is. Summertown Elementary was I guess you could say the pioneers for Lawrence County Schools, in that they had such a forward-thinking leader in Mr. Mabry, and have truly led our initiatives in Lawrence County Schools. And we have developed this program to a level that many school districts are calling, saying, what are y'all doing? They're coming in, visiting. They're really envious of what we have going on in Lawrence County Schools in our STEM program. We have our STEM program under the CTE umbrella, which completely makes sense. And so tonight we want to introduce you to our newest pets that are a part of the STEM CTE program. So if come on, boys, come on, girls, boys, come on, come on. Introducing our new robotic dogs. These are only 2, so guys, come on in and show them a few tricks. But first, tell us what their names are.
Ours is named Buck.
Oh my goodness. So these students are from Etheridge Elementary and E.O. Kaufman, and we used innovative dollars to purchase the robotic dogs for all of the schools that are within the Innovative Grant program. So show us a few tricks. Everything you see going on is coded by the students. They're very well behaved. Very good. Very good. Good boys. In addition to the robotic dogs and the robotic programs that we have, we did expand this past school year to drones. So we had our first Ready, Set, Drone competition, and ended up with several students advancing to nationals this first year, which is just amazing. And again, the coordination and the help and the drive of Anne Marie made this happen. So at this time, we'd like to show you how amazing our pilots are for our drones. Have at it.
Alright, come forward. Now go up. Alright, go down. Come forward. Go the other side. Alright, go down. Alright, come forward. And stand.
Very good. Very good. During the drone competition, the students have paths that they have to pilot the drones through. They have to move balls that are within these little contraptions and everything. It's amazing. But they have to talk to each other. So you see so many skills are going on during this competition, not just the pilot, but those that are guiding. So there's so many skills that are happening. At this time, we'd like for the students to say a few words about what these programs have meant to them.
We are honored to be here and show you what we have been learning. We are very thankful for our county helping us have these opportunities at Etheridge School, and for Miss Anne Marie Lampright, Miss Cruz, and Miss Gist, who helps teach us about robotics and STEAM classes on a daily basis. Thank you, Miss Gist. Working with EV3 has taught us to persevere through hard times, to prepare for LEGO competitions. Our hard work and determination was definitely needed to get the job completed. Also, it has taught us many important skills that will make us have a brighter and more successful future. These skills will also help us to prepare for our adult world.
Drones have taught us teamwork, and it has also given us better listening skills because we have to listen and trust our teammate to land in the blackout zone. These skills will help us when it comes to time to get a job because we will have coworkers who we will have to trust and work with for many years to come. The robot dogs have been an attention getter for all our students at Etheridge. It is a very easy way to introduce younger generations into robotics to help them become excited. A few weeks ago, we showed the third graders a few dog tricks, and they were so amazed. Again, we would like to thank you for helping us to have these opportunities.
Nice job. Are you sure? Do you board members have any questions for our students or teachers? We have Amanda with us, Amanda Gist at Etheridge Elementary, and she does did I say Etheridge Elementary? I did. She does an amazing job. She works very well with Anne Marie, and they just make things happen. Etheridge was one of our first STEAM schools, our only STEAM school, and then Ingram Sal was added this past school year as a STEM school. Anything else? Any questions?
We're excited, and we really appreciate you guys putting money into these funds and helping us at our school. It's just an eye-opener that there's more things out there besides a textbook and all those things to help our kids grow. And we know that drones is where the world is going, especially even our fire departments and our police departments. So it's very valuable, so thank you.
For sure, for sure. I'd like for Anne Marie to step in, and y'all help me give her a round of applause. This is Anne Marie Lampright. She is the brain behind all of this, and I'm so grateful for her support and everything she's done as STEM coordinator for Lawrence County Schools. Thank you, Anne Marie. Thank you so much. If there are no questions?
I got a quick question. Them robotic pets, did they come in a box and you assemble them, or how does that work? One of the guys?
Go ahead.
They come in this beautiful Indiana Jones crate, and they come with their own secured box that they live in. And what makes these extremely valuable is the fact that they go hand in hand with our robotics, with the drones. They all speak the same language. So it can start out at a drag and drop type of experience the kids have with coding, and it goes up to Python, and it can also go to JavaScript. So, you know, we look at something like this for an awe factor, but where's the meat? And the meat is there because the kids are learning valuable coding skills in languages that are relevant to the workforce.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting our visitors come tonight. We appreciate it very much. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. But thank you. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job.
He knows how to work.
Thank you very much.
That's very good. Very good.
Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate that.
I would say that if you don't.
It's weird. So much.
To it. See pretty soon.
Thank you, man. I'll see you up there. I'll see you at Summertown Elementary.
Oh, you gotta stay here and talk to them? No, it's time to go home.
Next on the agenda tonight is the consent items.
It's never a boring day. Come on, Elijah, let's go. That's how they got to listen to you. Hot mess, it's never boring.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve A through G?
Move to approve.
I got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any questions regarding any of the consent items? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda tonight is report items. Under A, Mr. Atkins' school report. No, I'm sorry, Summertown Elementary.
He may need to come back.
Okay, that's fine. We'll move on. We'll come back to him in a minute. Now, Mr. Atkins, personnel report in B.
I believe you have all of the information in front of you.
Are there any questions regarding any personnel reports? And moving on or going back to A, school reports, Mr. Mabry, if you're ready.
I perform much better in front of a big audience, so I feel like.
I don't worry, that's okay. That's okay.
All right.
I made you be shorter, right?
I'll go quickly. You have a copy of this, but I'll just hit the highlights. Summertown Elementary, 650 students. That's the second largest school in the county. The elementary schools range from about 400 to 600. And so on average, we have about 25% more students than any other school. The reason that's important, I tell these people all the time, one principal, one RTI coordinator, one nurse, one SRO, one secretary. The workload on those people with 25% more kids is substantially more. One librarian, one counselor. Our cafeteria has 9 wonderful ladies that serve between 435 and 440 breakfasts every day, and it's wonderful. Some of them get hand delivered to certain people sometimes, and so we're thankful for that. About 600 lunches. The highlight of the cafeteria is on 9/20/9/23, our cafeteria punched out 735 funnel cakes to make sure every student experienced a funnel cake during Fair Week. We are a little concerned with the half day now for Thursday before Fair Day, because that's going to mean 650 lunches and 735 funnel cakes. But I feel like if any cafeteria can accomplish that, ours will be able to do that. SES leading the way. In 2017, SES built, the faculty, staff, parents built the first greenhouse, completely functioning greenhouse at an elementary school. And so we're proud of that and still use it today. We started the Lego competition in 2018, already been mentioned. The drone purchases, a little different. 10 years ago, the drones were much bigger than they are now, but that was something that we started incorporating. We're also proud that in 2022, we built, to my knowledge, the first outdoor barn on a campus at Summertown Elementary, on a campus, a school in Lawrence County. We're also excited to announce that our barn is 100% solar. And so we have plugs, we have lights, all solar, all neat for the kids to see and understand how all that works. We are looking to build a wind turbine windmill in the near future. Not that we're going to make a lot of money selling back electricity. We're not even hooked to the grid, but just to show the kids how that works, and that's something that is more and more common. A lot of these things are made possible because of our parent involvement. I listed some items there as far as where our parents and our families really come out and support the school. A funny story, there's nothing funnier at an elementary school than laughing at the principal. If y'all don't know that, then I'm telling you that. We had a family engagement night, and our new RTI coordinator came and said, hey, Sonic has donated 50 hamburgers. Do you think that'll be enough? And I'm like, Ms. Essery, we'll be eating hamburgers for the next 2 weeks at school. That's more than enough. We don't need 50. 15 minutes before the activity started, I was in the concession stand cutting the hamburgers in half because we had over 100 people there. And there was a question, did I need to try to cut them in fourths or start popping popcorn? And so we started popping popcorn to feed the rest of the people that came for the food. Areas of academic strength, again listed there. Summertown Elementary for last year is a level 5 school, which means we significantly exceeded expectations. Our math scores are a little bit better than our ELA scores, but we're still proud of that level 5 status, which our number system obviously is opposite of what the school board rating system is. Some of y'all were level 1 school board members, which was the best. We're level 5 school, which is the best. So make sure we're aware of that. 22-23 achievement score. I had every intention to share our data with you tonight, but I've been told there's like some kind of penalty and possibly jail time if I tell you what we did, how we did as far as achievement. So just be aware that it's listed as a strength of our school, and I wouldn't have put it at a strength unless it was really good. I will offer up that I could come back November 4th and present our actual scores to you if Mr. Atkins or Ms. Ridgway doesn't do that before that time. I can also email you if you want me to email you a copy of our scores. Something we're proud of, our T and All Corps tutoring, a grant through the state, a 3-year grant. Our budget for that program is $517,000. That's part of that's matching funds through the school system that has allowed us to hire 4 retired teachers, 3 full-time teachers, and 3 assistants. We are struggling to find teachers that don't have a job already. So we're 2 teachers short. We have 2 unfilled positions. And then we have 22 teachers that are tutoring either before or after school or both, which has allowed us to service 424 students. That's double what we did last year, and we feel like that program has significantly impacted our test scores. And so just throwing out there, that runs out this year. We hope there is some way to keep some of those positions and be able to make that difference in the students when that program goes away, because the amount of teachers and time that we've invested into that tutoring, if we go from those 10 positions to 0 positions, it will significantly impact our scores, I think, in a bad way, because we're used to having that additional service. Accomplishments, again, I told my teachers that I would go through all these, and so I have that responsibility to make sure we celebrate our students. 5th grade TN Ready Math was the highest success rate in Lawrence County. 5th grade TN Ready Science was the highest success rate in Lawrence County. 6th grade TN Ready Math was the highest success rate in Lawrence County. 6th grade TN Ready ELA, highest success rate in Lawrence County. 4th grade Math, 4th grade Science, 6th grade Science was the 2nd highest success rate in Lawrence County. And just what you need to know about success rate, those are the number of students that meet or exceed grade level standards. And so we are very proud of those accomplishments. Non-academic, again, our parents support our school, and that's why we can be so successful. We have a fun run that we do every year, 650 students. Those students ran 16,125 laps, which equates to 954 miles, which equated for us to $38,430 we raised to have programs like a barn and like drones and like Legos and all the other things that we want to do. some of the schools that are late getting on some of those programs, there's grants and there's other funding that kind of gets them to the point where we are. But when we're doing some of these ideas, there's no funding. And it's like, if we can't come up with it on our own, we just can't do it. And so numbers like that for a fun run activity, that's strictly profit. Accomplishments of the faculty and staff. Our first grade teacher, Miss Amy Burleson, was Teacher of the Year for the district 22-23. The second one, there was a whole lot of work that went into this one. Outside of school, Miss Addie Smith was, to my knowledge, the first student teacher in Lawrence County that fell under the new law that allows student teachers to skip student teaching and start helping us fill vacancies. And so my timeline and MTSU's timeline did not go hand in hand. I made a lot of phone calls to people like Joey Hensley and the people that sponsored those bills, and they made a lot of phone calls. And about a month into school, she was approved and she took on that position, and that substantially helped us fill that classroom with a certified teacher. The one thing, if anybody ever asks you about that program, MTSU did not waive Ed TPA, which means she still had to do all the book work like she was a student, which was absolutely ridiculous. But she still had to jump through the hoops, and she did all that, and she finished all that. And so that's been a huge impact as far as getting teachers in classrooms at Summertown Elementary. Projects in the work. We heard a lot about Abigail Sensory Playground. Just something to throw out. The first t-shirt order we did, about $5,000. A $300,000 project would have taken us 60 years to pay for that playground. And because of a partnership with Abigail's plan, a partnership with our community, our parents, donations, all of Lawrence County, we were able to do that in about 6 or 7 years, which wasn't fast. And a lot of those kids that started as kindergartners and that idea came about, they're almost gone from our building. And so we are very fortunate to get that done and get that going. And hopefully we can invite all of you up around Thanksgiving and maybe have turkey and dressing out on the accessible playground, because that's when it's supposed to be finished. New or projects in the works for the future. We have filled out some grants because we think we want to do tilapia in the outdoor barn, some fish tanks. And so if we get that grant funding, then we may put some of the school funding with that, and we may have a fish fry actually, and we'll invite you up for that. Also, we're looking at doing a fitness playground, a small couple of structures that promote physical activity. That's all the good stuff. The last page is just areas of concern. In summary, lack of space is a huge deal at Summertown Elementary. Our art teacher has been on stage for the last 6 years. Her classroom is the stage, which in some ways she's happy with that, but it takes away our ability to use the stage for anything else, like for a Christmas program. We're very limited because of that area being a classroom. Our counselor this year has always had a classroom. This year, he's sharing an office with the dean, and he's having to go in to other places to do the counseling services because we do not have an open space for him. Those 10 all-courts tutors, 10 bodies, 10 adults that are tutoring our kids, all of those adults are working out of the same classroom. And so in total, throughout the day, there's about 150 kids that go in and out. And they're not all in there at the same time, but if you've got 10 adults trying to reserve their little space of the classroom, and then you've got that many kids coming in and out, that's a very crowded situation. In addition to that, our other tutoring groups are all throughout the building. We found out about a month ago when the fire marshal showed up that there had to be additional lighting put in the teacher's lounge. So if the power went out, those kids could see to get out, because that's not a traditional classroom space, but that's what we're using. Our bookstore fell in the same category. They had to install emergency lighting because our 2 blind students, that's the classroom that they're utilizing, and we don't have a choice, because in addition to that, at any given time, we have about 25 students that are getting services in the hall. And so again, what's the problem with using the hall? They're not behind a locked door. There's a lot of issues with that. And so we really hope there's some consideration for some additional space at Summertown Elementary. Very similar to what was built about 7 years ago, the 4 classrooms at the end of the upper grade hall. We feel like there's space that you could do a 4 classroom pod. And that wouldn't totally fix our space issue, but it would at least give us some breathing room for the foreseeable future. In addition to that, those 650 kids are all cycling through the library. And so our circulation number of checkouts for Summertown Elementary is about 27,000 books last year. And I believe if you compared that to other schools, you would see that that's significantly more. And my librarian is telling me all the time, I need more shelves, I need more space. And so short of adding on to that or putting them in the hall or something else, that's also a struggle for us. Again, lack of personnel. We've had 2 TN Corps teacher openings since August. I have 2 teachers that are leaving me in Christmas. One is getting married and moving to Oklahoma. I don't think it's about the principal. I think she's really found her true love in Oklahoma, and she's moving there. The other one has had her 4th child, and again, I don't think it's about me. She's decided she'd rather stay home with 4 kids than come to school and work with 650 kids as the PE teacher. And so after Christmas, I'm looking for 4 teachers. Hopefully there's some student teachers, and I have one at my school that I think we're going to snatch up, but that still leaves me 3 short possibly. There are some other things we're exploring, but our goal is to get the best. And so, if we don't find the best, we're continuing to look, because we feel like that's what's best for Summertown Elementary. Another issue that we're facing is substitutes. I gave you kind of a rundown right there. 18 subs short in August, 41 subs short in September, 22 through the first day of October. We were 4 subs short today. What does that mean? 4 subs short. That means that 4 areas of service did not get covered. And we do our best to make sure that's not a classroom. Sometimes we cancel PE, or we cancel art, or we cancel TN All-Corps tutoring. But the sub shortage is something, again, because we have more employees, the likelihood of somebody being sick or having a family member that's sick is more frequent at your bigger schools. So that was a lot. I talked fast. What questions do you have? Yes, ma'am.
Looking at the addition of building, factories, etc., the new Summertown Orchard, how do you foresee your school handling all this?
So I have it on here and I skipped through it, but in June or July, I received a message that we could no longer accept out-of-zone students. Okay, well, what you need to realize about Summertown Elementary is our students typically are not out-of-zone students. I turned away 2 students from July or June, whatever date is on there, until the present. The kids that come to Summertown Elementary typically are Summertown Elementary kids. Now, there's a handful that are paying out-of-county tuition. Their parents say it's worth $2,000 to send my kid to Summertown Elementary. But short of something happening, the freeze on taking new students doesn't address our problem. We were just, fortunate that most of the kids that were coming had already registered and we knew about it. But as far as if something doesn't change, and I also put on there, our low group is 5th grade. We have 75 kids. Our high grade is 105. So when those fifth graders leave and 100 kids come in, our enrollment will jump 30 kids, 40 kids, and people will say, well, how did y'all go from 650 to 700 overnight? Well, it's because I don't know what was going on 12 years ago where people weren't reproducing in Summertown, but that's an extremely small class that is keeping us our head above water currently. And once they move out, if we get another large class, we are hurting dramatically. And that's when we're like, can y'all build us a portable? Or
It's my understanding there's going to be 200, 250 homes in that Summertown Orchard. They bring 2 kids per home. You're hurting.
right. We're hurting today for space.
Sure gonna
If
be
we get
hurting
50 more kids, then, that number of kids in the hallway jumps dramatically. And that's not what's best for our students to be in the hallway, but it's not best to have them in the teacher's lounge, where the teachers need to have an opportunity to go and get it. But that's the only option we have today. And so that's just something, I guess, and I shared that last year as far as possible building plans in the future. And I would just ask that you consider that as far as for future projects as well.
Going back to the sub that you have that's short, and this is a question, how do you like, or how did your teachers like the new program?
They love the new program.
Okay, so are they utilizing that?
They utilize the program.
So
It's just,
they're
there's
just not picking it up, and enough people out there doing it.
Right. But yes, they love the program. It's a lot easier. You punch that in. And I kind of stay after my teachers about not misusing your days. If you're sick,
Exactly.
stay home. But if you're wanting to go shopping, you're not sick. You need to be at school. But just the sheer number of, we just don't have a lot. We've hired a lot of our subs as EAs and other positions, and the pool is
Just not there.
significantly depleted.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? Very well, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Moving on to item C, Director's Report. Mr. Atkins.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The academic recognition that we were going to have presented tonight, Mr. Mabry kind of hinted at that as well. We are waiting full release from the Tennessee Department of Education. Mrs. Ridgway will have that available next month and be able to give a solid presentation and be able to answer questions you may have. We did not want to present it tonight and you ask a question and she not be able to answer it. So we'll bring that in next month. I have shared with central office staff, and I'll share with the principals tomorrow, concerns about the A through F ranking that the state may release November, December. Just meetings that I've had with other directors, meetings that I've had with state officials, listening to the commissioner. I have some concerns about the A through F rating, and I think districts throughout the state have concerns, but I will keep the board apprised of that as it becomes available. Calendar results for the 24-25 year, you received that information in the weekly update. 376 respondents, 69% chose calendar B, and 31% chose calendar C. So calendar B will be what we're working for the next school year, and we'll have that available at next month's board meeting. Evers Construction received, or we received information from Evers Construction regarding the door replacement, the service contract. We will be putting that together. Mr. Cagle has the contract language to review before I bring it to the board. The building projects, I want to say, are complete, but we have just a few little things that Mr. Tucker will be dealing with later this week. But those projects are behind us. That is the gym at Loretta, the final project. If you have not had an opportunity to go down there and see that gym, you need to. It's very nice, well constructed, nice color scheme, very nice. The multi-purpose building at Summertown High School is underway. We've had some meetings with those folks. The bleachers at Lawrence County High School are installed. The lift that's going in over there, it should be installed and completed this week. Summertown Football Complex, we're working on that. We have a meeting this Thursday with officials about making sure that we're using the taxpayer dollar wisely and finding the best location and the best price for that location. Make sure we're using the dollars correctly. Athletics, as many of you know, full swing. Summertown High School tennis team competed in the state. The Lady Eagles golf team won the state 6 years in a row. Carly Campbell, state champion. Cole Campbell, third in the state. If you have not read about him and his story, it's well worth time to read about what that young man was able to accomplish and with some of the struggles that he had. Our volleyball team at Loretta was runner-up. Our bands, I had an opportunity to go over and watch band competition. All three bands compete almost every weekend, but the weekend I was there, every band brought home a recognition for their work, and congratulations to those band students and their coaches, teachers, parents, whomever. Football season continues. If you're following Loretta, they're 9-0. A lot of good things happening on the south end of the county. Middle school basketball opened up last night. I was able to watch a couple of games, or 2 games down at South Lawrence, the boys and the girls. Cross country doing well. Our Lady Cats cheerleaders qualified for national championship. All of that to say there's a busy time in Lawrence County. A lot of things are going on, and the great things that are happening are because of the great people who give of themselves generously each and every day for our kids. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are any questions for Mr. Atkins? Go ahead.
Mr. Atkins, do you have the Loretta Gymnasium, the total cost? What did it finally cost us for that money?
I think our total cost on that is probably going to be around 7.4. Is that about right?
Somewhere between 7.4 and 7.5, yeah.
7.4, 7.5, according to Mrs. Elledge. And a lot of that additional cost dealt with some issues with the dirt when they first started. We had to make some changes because it wasn't packing and it wasn't going to perform properly. And then we had a parking lot issue that we could have left it unattended, but it could have been 6 months, a year, and we'd have had a big hole in the parking lot. So about 7.4, 7.5, according to Mrs. Elledge.
Can you refresh my memory? What did we originally say that was?
It was going to be around 7.2. I think it was a 6.8 and a 4 1/4 from the state, or 6.8 on the bond and 4.25 from the board.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Moving on to item D, Executive Committee order approvals. Is any questions 1 through 6 there? Most of them are approval of different money items that need to be approved before they expire. So any questions regarding
Mr. Crusoe.
Go ahead, Dr. Murphy.
Mr. Atkins, have you done a cost comparison on hiring more or paying more Tier 2 bus drivers as compared with having permanent subs in the process? I noticed that you sent out that the Tier 2 bus drivers were running over 700 routes a year. My question on that was, did they consider the morning run as one route and the evening run as another route? Or were they considering the full day as a route?
So a route would be what they would normally drive, and then anything above that, if they ran 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, that's the Tier 2 driver.
Right, I understand that, but what was there a distinguishing factor there of the routes as far as was morning and afternoon a route, or was morning a route and afternoon a route?
Yes, morning route, afternoon route.
Okay, so there was 2 routes in one day considered in that 700 plus?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, if we have Tier 2 bus drivers, then they are paid the $6,000 extra, correct?
Correct.
So those Tier 2 bus drivers are paid to run 2 routes, morning and afternoon, every day.
Or 3 or 4 or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So if that be the case, then we shouldn't no longer have to have people filling in, whether it's principals, mechanics, or whoever, correct?
Well, we don't have, I think we have 9 Tier 2 drivers throughout the county. So we have is it two?
But
two on
my
the south?
question is, they don't drive two routes every day.
No, they may not, no. But,
Right.
but if we need them to drive 2 routes a day, or instead of the,
Or
we
if
could,
they called on first
yes.
to drive
It's understood they will be driving a route. When we sign them up for
before
it,
any other sub is taken. the route.
or any other extra driver, because
Right.
the subs would
Mechanic,
drive. Yeah,
Principal.
that's the
whoever.
idea.
They are full.
They're the ones we want driving.
Right, I understand you
Yeah.
want them driving, but they are full. They fill up before you go to somebody else.
Yes. Yeah. Or if we didn't have Tier 2 drivers, what we would be asking our schools to do, and I think Mr. Mabry hit on it a little earlier, and someone else may have said something about it, is we can have our schools calling parents at 12:30, 2 o'clock, saying you need to make arrangements to come pick your child up. The Tier 2 program keeps Lawrence County from calling parents and saying, you got to figure out how to get your child home today, not us.
If they're fully utilized.
If they're being utilized. And I don't know the last time we had to cancel or call parents and say, we don't have a way to get your child home. That's the beauty of that. And I think I can pull some information from other districts and let you see some of the challenges that they're facing, where kids are getting to school at 8:45 in the morning and things like that. So the Tier 2 does not solve all of our problems, but it keeps us from calling parents and saying, you've got to drop off work and come get your child. You've got to figure out what to do with your child. And our Lawrence County school system's not having to do that, and that's a good thing.
Any further questions? Moving on to item E, report for state compliance. Ms. Elledge?
I believe it's Mr. Tucker.
Oh, Mr. Tucker, there you go.
I'll be real brief. School systems are required to obviously comply with all federal, state laws and State Board of Education rules. And so an annual compliance, the State Department of Education requires us to complete an annual compliance report. That's the mechanism they use to make sure we're following all the laws. And so after review of all of our policies and everything that we have in place, to our knowledge, we are in compliance with all federal, state laws and the State Board of Education rules. Part of this requirement, this compliance report, we have to bring it to the board and get your approval before we can send in saying we're in compliance. So we do this yearly, annually.
Move we approve that report.
So do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
Okay, so we do vote now, or is it on the consideration discussion items?
And action.
Do what?
Action also on it.
Yeah.
I'll second your motion.
So we'll just go ahead and approve. There is a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It is now approved. Moving on to item F, report on TSBA Fall District Meeting. Is there a report on that? No report. Anybody go?
Other than I think Mrs. Jacobs asked me to speak with Mrs. Kaiser to make sure that we knew who all was attending next month. I think there's rooms been booked for everyone. There may not be, if you ask for an extra day, it may not be at the same hotel because of capacity issues, but I think that was mentioned at the last board meeting, so that's been taken care of.
And she knows everybody that's going to go?
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Okay, good. Item G, LCEA. Thank you for coming tonight.
Glad to be here. I just wanted to let you know that we turned in the signatures to Mr. Adkins before the board meeting, and that we'll be moving along with the process for the collaborative conferencing.
Any questions for LCEA? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to Tennessee Legislative Network.
Nothing to
Nothing to report tonight. Thank you very much. Moving on to ITSB Annual Convention. And I believe we just had that, and that's November 16th to the 19th.
Yeah, my apologies.
And Ms. Kaiser knows
Yes.
the people that are going and got all the information set up. Moving on to consent items, discussion and action. Budget items for consideration. We have under 1 through 4. Under I, bleacher seats improvements. The total cost is $70,000. Funded source is fund budget.
And you need
Now, we can go through all of them before we make a vote. Number 2 is outdoor classroom bid. That's a total cost of $353, $151. That's also innovative dollars. Under the 3, greenhouse installation bid is the total cost is $157.645.5, and that is from innovative dollars. And last is the building outdoor pavilion at Davy Crockett, and that is a total cost of $16,636.71, and that is a grant. Can I get a motion to approve I through 4? Motion to approve I through 4?
He's got a question.
Let's
Yeah.
have a motion and then a second, then we'll go through a question.
Move approved.
We got a motion to approve in a second. I second. Questions?
I've got a couple of questions. Jessica, how are we doing on our fund balance? I mean, I know we spend small things here. Do you feel comfortable with this?
I do.
Okay.
I do at this point. We have come back to the board the last few months and probably asked for, including this $70,000 tonight, we've probably come back and hit you guys since July for about $300,000 to $350,000, I would say. Because we've asked for some additional positions and some things, if you recall, over the previous months.
Okay. Another question, the 70,000, where are those bleachers?
That's throughout the county. It's bleachers at every school and basketball goals at every school. We expanded into the elementary schools this year and did inspections on goals and bleachers. I think every school is touched in some way, some more than others. Some of them had some significant issues that needed to be addressed.
Any other questions?
Mr. Cruz,
Go
I
ahead.
have a question. We didn't approve the executive committee approval. Do we not have to?
That's just a report
on
item.
those?
They were already approved through myself and Mr. Atkins, that were approved. It's just a report items showing that we did
You're
bring those
saying the
up.
board has already approved
That's
those.
correct. Me and Mr. Atkins did approve those.
The
Is
entire
that-
board has voted on that?
No, the entire board doesn't vote on executive committee approvals. It's just.
Well, doesn't the entire board have to vote on this?
Not that I'm aware of. It's just the executive committee. It's just
That's a
that
chunk of
Mr.
money.
Well, Mr. Atkins and I approved them before the board and go from that. It's just a report item. Is that my understanding?
That's my understanding, yeah.
So two of y'all approved, how much, $124,000?
Between those right there, yes. And most of those was fund balance and grants and through technical budgets. We have a motion to approve the budget items. Do we have a second? Please call roll.
Caruso.
Aye.
Dryden.
Yes.
Hartsfield.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Mabry.
Yeah.
Nodert.
Yes.
Weathers.
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to item 4, policy items for consideration, discussion, and action. Those policies were in your packet. And are there any, can I get a motion to approve I through B, 5?
Move we approve those policies.
Got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a motion to approve and a second. Are there any questions regarding policies I through D? Please call roll.
Weathers.
Yes.
Nodert.
Yes.
Mabry.
Yes.
Jacobs,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Caruso,
Aye.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to item B5, other items for consideration, discussion, and action, winter sports schedule.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is the annual report or item for your consideration that Mrs. Cope presents. I'll just remind the board, we may have things that come up from time to time where a cancellation of a game for weather or something where students may have to leave school a little early or make some kind of special arrangements. The board approved me 2 years ago, I believe, to let those teams participate in athletic events if they need to leave early due to potential weather coming in during the athletic events and all. So I just want to remind the board that that may come up where I have to make those decisions.
Can I get a motion to approve the winter sports schedule?
Motion approved.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Moving on to B, next board meeting will be November 30th at 5:30. Are there any questions regarding anything on the budget before we have a motion to adjourn?
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if I should bring this up now, but I just, has anything been discussed about the non-faculty assistant coach supplements? Has anything been decided there yet? Or
No, sir. We haven't decided anything. I've been speaking to a few directors that I heard that did that, and so far, what I had heard was not accurate, that it's not a practice in the district. So I'm still reaching out to, not a practice in the districts that I was told were doing this. When I reached out to that district, they said, we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing. We don't pay the assistants. But I still have a couple of more that I'm going to reach out to that I've been told
do
are
they
doing.
pay non-faculty head coaches?
Like what we do, some of them do. Some of them are paying head coaches, but not assistants. Was there something else?
Any further questions?
No.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?